Hi, yeah, my name's Keaton. I'm 28 years old. I live in Wisconsin, United States.
And so you talked about getting the okay from your insurance to do an MRI. Do you know what the future plan is to deal with your left leg?
I don't quite have an idea. The doctor really hasn't said anything like what they even think it is. They've just said, hey, these are what we want to do. So I don't know if they even know. Mm-hmm. One thing they kind of look for is when in like your initial exam is they like poke around on your leg to see if anything's tender. I think that's to check for check your tendons and ligaments to see if you tore anything. And no pain there. So, and with that, I think then there might be some other things going on with it that they're like, oh, I think we need to like take a more detailed look, which the MRI will do. But yeah, I don't really quite know what the future holds. It could be more physical therapy. It could be a surgery. I doubt it really is more rest because I've been doing that for 3 months.
Yeah, it's quite interesting to talk about someone who was born in the U.S., raised in the U.S., and lived there their whole life, but they still don't quite fully understand the healthcare insurance process and how it works. So yeah, tell us about what is a premium, a healthcare premium?
A premium is the amount you paid regularly to the insurance company to maintain coverage. It comes directly out of your paycheck. So mine's biweekly, so every 2 weeks I pay.
So you pay, it's like a subscription. Every 2 weeks you pay a little bit of money from your paycheck into this health insurance.
That's a good way to put it. Yeah, it kind of is like a subscription.
And a deductible. What is a deductible?
So deductible, yeah, it's the amount you must pay for covered healthcare services before your insurance starts to pay anything.
Mm-hmm. So you're saying that this is the first $500 or $1,000 of healthcare you must pay before your insurance starts to pay. That's what I'm understanding. Tell us about out-of-pocket costs. What exactly is that?
An out-of-pocket cost is a total expense paid by the insured, so me, including deductibles, copays, co-insurance.
Yeah, so the out-of-pocket cost in summary is just the extra that you pay, not just including your premium. Mm-hmm. And typically you hear this with an out-of-pocket max. So the maximum you're able to pay as a person before your insurance must pay the rest of it.
Yeah, that sounds right.
And then the network, what exactly is that?
I've worked through 2 different networks. The network is the facilities, providers, the suppliers your health insurance has contracted with to provide healthcare services. So essentially your doctors, and it essentially limits who you can see within your area, or sometimes not in your area, or it can be also very, very localized. So
you're saying that if I'm sick, I have to go to a specific doctor. I can't go to any doctor.
Yep. And sometimes for people who maybe they have an emergency and they're just taken somewhere, they can get taken somewhere that's not in their network, and it can kind of...
it can be expensive, I guess.
It can be very expensive.
So you're talking about something with an ambulance. If you had an accident or something like this, you get taken somewhere out of your network, and because of that, your insurance doesn't help, and you have to pay a lot of money. A little bit scary, the thought, but...
yeah, pretty scary.
And the last one is a pre-existing condition.
Pre-existing condition is a health problem you've had before the date that new healthcare coverage starts.
I see. So this is like if you have a broken leg before you start a new health insurance, and so for that reason, the coverage might be different.
Yeah, I think it's more associated with like diabetes or some sort of heart problem, because that's like a long term. Typically has like follow up expenses. Like if you have diabetes, you need insulin. If you have heart problems, you might need different types of medication. So insurance companies sometimes take that and make your premiums or your deductible different.
Because of an increased risk in needing health.
Yep,
okay, I see.
All about risk. In the U.S., it's kind of weird too, because like they separate out your dental, your vision, and your medical. So sometimes, like I get my health insurance through my employer. Not everyone does that. In the U.S., you can get it through like the government essentially has programs for health insurance also, but I get mine through my employer. And so I pay for dental. I pay $10 every paycheck, so $20 a month. For vision, I pay $5 like every paycheck, so $10 a month. And then my medical premium is $46.50 every 2 weeks. So it ends up being about $100 a month, which I think is actually pretty good. I have friends who work in government who have like half that, and it depends. Everyone's is different. My last company I worked for, I think, is about $200 a month.
So this is your premium, the things that you pay every month, no matter what, even if you're not sick.
Correct. Yeah.
How much do you still have to pay if you were to get sick before your insurance helps you?
My deductible is actually the same as my max out of pocket. And so my deductible is $3,500.
And how quickly do you tend to achieve this number throughout the year?
Yeah, most people probably don't actually hit their deductible or max out of pocket. This year I had another medical incident that decided to hit that deductible within like 2 days. But after hit the deductible, any healthcare cost is essentially free.
Well, you pay for your premium, so
Yeah.
it's like your subscription.
So I hit my max out of pocket or my deductible earlier this year, and so now actually my X-ray, my MRI, and all those doctor visits I'm going through now don't cost me anything outside of my monthly premium.
I see. But then once it hits January 1st, the new year, your deductible will reset and you will have to pay the first $3,500 again. Is that correct?
Correct. And so, yeah, it's kind of, the end of the year is kind of a race for a lot of people, which I think might be why it slows down at the end of the year, is because a lot of people have hit their deductible, and now they're like, oh, like, I need this. Like, let's go get it covered. Kind of what I'm doing right now is, like, I've had the knee problem for a while. I want to get this figured out this year, because if I don't, then I have to start over again and probably hit $3,500 again next year.
So a lot of people are rushing in the end of the year to do their things because it's essentially no cost other than your monthly payment, as compared to if they waited till January, they would again have to pay their deductible. How often have you hit your deductibles thanks to this knee problem and hip problem you've had?
Every year, but last year, I think. And my $3,500 deductible is cheaper than the first 2 years, quite significantly. Health has been expensive for me personally.
Yeah, I think it's also an interesting topic to talk about, but typically that is for people who are living in the U.S. For strange cases like me, who live abroad and don't live in the U.S., it becomes an issue because it's hard for me to get insurance while I'm in the U.S. visiting my parents and my friends. And so, as my dad always says, I have to bubble wrap myself and be very careful, because if I hurt myself when I'm in the U.S., it'll be very expensive. And we've looked at getting some sort of program from the government, but because of my income being out of the U.S., it's very difficult for me to get such a program. So it's kind of an interesting side note to that as well.
Have you considered like travel insurance?
We've looked at that, but it's strange because as an American citizen, being in the U.S., I'm technically home, and so I can get travel insurance for I'm visiting a different country, but travel insurance for visiting my own country doesn't work as well. We found something called accident insurance, which claims to cover me for falling and breaking legs or hurting myself in that sense. But of course, getting sick and needing to go to the doctor for antibiotics or medicine doesn't actually get covered by that. So.
Gotcha.
Very good. We talked about the influence of your insurance on your medical decisions with the insurance deciding if you could get an MRI or not. Do you think that is a productive thing, or do you think that is something that could be detrimental for healthcare?
I think it's kind of annoying that like your doctor essentially has second guessed every single time. The whole process has been slow, so it's been like, go to the doctor. Then they're like, oh, you need this, and then it's like oh, okay, we'll schedule that, and then it's 2 weeks out, and then you get that done. And they're like, oh, it'll be another week for your answers, and then it's like, then you get the answer, and they're like, okay, now you have to meet the doctor to discuss your next steps, and then it could be months before you actually get the resolution you need. I'm sure for my other injuries or illnesses, it's a lot quicker. Like if you're actually like deathly ill, they'll get you expedited or triaged.
Awesome. So how does health insurance influence your employment choices?
As you mentioned, like insurance is part of it. You can be through your employer, and so that can be kind of part of your benefits package when you join a new company. And so for me, when I went from the $200 a month premium to $100 a month premium, I essentially made an extra $100 more a month. And that was a deciding factor in moving to a new company. And so, health insurance can definitely play a part, especially if you're in a family. Like some people I'm a single guy living in an apartment, people with like larger families can have significant cost savings when switching to cheaper insurances and premiums. And part of their network too. Like if you were at one company, you developed this network of doctors that you trust and you like seeing, in this new company, their network is not the same. Then sometimes you have to reshuffle or refigure out your whole network. You get a new primary doctor, and if you have pre-existing conditions, you might have to find a new heart specialist or something.
So that's all there is today. Tell me in the comments, what is your country's medical system like? Do you have an insurance system like the United States? Or do you have something different? Like always, I'll try to fix your mistakes if you write in the comments. But for now, please like, subscribe, and I'll see you next time. Toodles!